you specifically written the setting in English, and am I going to get onto the next screen and suspiciously find the word language in English? No. No, I'm not. Okay. Oh wait, no, hang on. There's English. Hooray! Huzzah! That is going to make my life a lot easier. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a demo for a game called Dread Flats, which, as is possibly betrayed by the initial language, which we probably won't go back into for fear of not being able to get out of it, is a game based on folklore from Asia, I believe. I can't remember if it said which specific Asian country, but I'm sure we'll find out. So I'll stop yammering and we'll get on with it. Yes, I'm sure everything's fine. That's interesting. That's normally something they only do in proper big games, rather than little daft ones. I don't know if this is a little daft one. I am a paranormal video blogger. A week ago, I rented this room in a local famous haunted building, hoping to capture some unusual footage. That was a recipe for disaster. It's like trying to get an old movie projector running. The sound came again. This time, I had to film it. Number of games that start with you getting out of bed. Right. Okay. When you said English, it just meant some of it. Okay, well, E, Q, and F seem to do something. Oh, blimey. Okay, that's what Q does, apparently. And, hang on, actually, we can see the English translations here. That makes my life a lot easier. Right, oh my goodness gracious me. The mouse sensitivity is high and the frame rate is low. Right, okay, can I fix the mouse sensitivity manually? Yes. Can I fix the frame rate? Probably not. Is there anything I can do to fix the frame rate? Not really, no. Okay, never mind. Let's pretend that everything's fine. Let's pretend it's just old-timey video that we're trying to recreate. Oh, blimey. Okay, right. The sound is coming from upstairs again. Okay. Are we going for a kind of an Outlast thing with this? Aha! And I have got my light as well. Which, curiously it says light up and light down. I mean, I am lighting up the room, so to speak. I've left my keys there. Can I crouch? Is that a thing I can do? Seemingly not. No. Okay. I didn't know if I needed to get those keys in order to get out of the door. Right. I have a question. When this character described themselves as a paranormal video blogger, do they mean a video blogger who specifically blogs about the paranormal, or do they just mean a slightly possessed person who happens to make videos? Because I'm suddenly realizing that I'm not entirely sure which of those two definitions I'd fall into. But never mind. I think blogger is a bit out of date these days. And I must admit, I was expecting it to be a little bit more sort of retro in terms of the technology, but seemingly not. Seemingly we're going with relatively modern technology, which is interesting, and a lot of fans. All right, which I'm not going to make the obvious sarcastic and rather foolish joke there. I'm just going to why did that happen? What tidy, invisible person is wandering around this house, getting grumpy at me that I'm leaving doors open? I didn't seem to be able to open any of these drawers in order to pilfer things. But all right. Did I just rent that room? Is this room being rented by somebody else at the moment? Find marble sounds. What marble sounds? I don't know what marbles sound like. I lost my marbles many years ago. Right, I'm terribly sorry. Let's just carry on with life. and my boots, which I seem to be buying on an installment plan. But alright. Alright. Presumably I need to work my way upstairs. That's a very interesting design there. Is that I was going to say, is that a calendar? It seems sort of flip over, but then again we also have a little calendar over here. But alright, there is cake, and that makes everything better. But, what appeared there? Was there an interact sign there for a moment? Is it this drawer? Yes, indeed. Not that there's anything in the drawer. But you know, it was nice to it was nice to have hopes and dreams, even if they were dashed upon the rocks of reality when the drawer opened and there was nothing inside for anybody to look at. Oh good, I'm so glad to see that we wash all of our pans in blood. Good. Good. I was so worried that we'd be hygienic. Sheesh, someone's on a diet. I like the animation of the rain on the window. That's a nice touch. I don't think most people would go to that extent. So, that's nice. I approve. Alright. Let's find the upstairs. Oh, are we in an apartment, perhaps? In an apartment building? Sort of a little 2-bedroom apartment. And we need to go upstairs to a different floor in order to find find the source of the sounds. No, find the source of the sounds. Presumably. Okay, well there's my other boot. Tremendous. I'm not sure I want the bloody thing now, but at least it's here if I need it. Oh my goodness. And additional boots. Alright. Before I come back to rationalize all of that, and there's a lot there to work through, I wish to ask myself a question. This room, this apartment, didn't have a bathroom, did it? It has 2 bedrooms. It has a kitchen, diner, living room, as they seem to be described these days. Oh, there's my other boots. Tremendous. I'm so glad to see that I don't have to deal with this one. So there's no bathroom, which means this is a communal bathroom, which means people sit here and just have to say hello as as neighbours, really. As neighbours just waltz in to carry out their own personal business with no doors anywhere, because neighbours who defecate together stick together? I don't know. Maybe this is a perfectly normal thing in this culture, and me slagging it off is very racist and inappropriate, in which case I apologise, but at the same time I do think a door wouldn't go amiss. Alright, never mind. I'm gonna scamper very, very slowly, it would seem, and at this late hour, the marble sound starts. What are you talking about? It is often explained as the sound caused by aging structures, but what I've seen over the past few days absolutely defies scientific explanation. Right. It also it defies verbal explanation because I don't understand what you're on about. But alright, we need to go upstairs, so allow me to be a pain in the arse and go downstairs and wonder why we have things which look a little bit like number plates printed on the walls. Curious. Never mind. Let's carry on and see. What? The sound is coming from upstairs. Let's go film it. Yes, indeed. A minor translation error, one presumes. Alright, that's fine. As a man who can barely grasp his own language, I really am in no position to slag off people doing their best to communicate in multiple languages. So I shan't do that. I shall just carry on. Right, is it going to be on this floor? My goodness. I've heard of a shut-in, but a bricked-in is a whole new level of anti-socialism. Alrighty, let's explore this floor and see if it's on floor number 3 or if we have to go further to floor number 4. Is that the noise it's talking about? Sort of a tapping noise? Can you hear that? Almost sounds like a Like a sort of a bouncy ball sort of dropping on the floor. No, that's probably the noise they're talking about. The horrible, mysterious, scrapey noise we just heard. Oh, good. More of this. I'm so grateful. Can I zoom in this? Is that a thing I can do? I don't believe so. No. Right. Okay. Well, I'm so glad to see that as we move up the elevation of this building, we receive less and less privacy as you sit here doing your business while somebody else is just trying to tell the time. Goodness gracious me. At least there are more opportunities in this building. Guess if there were only 2 people, they could still have some degree of privacy, so that would be nice. This door is still locked. What a shame. Alright, I'm going to presume then that that it's not on floor number 3 and we need to go up to floor number 4 and see what we see up here. No more number plates stenciled on the walls, it would seem. I checked during the day. Nobody lives on this floor. Oh, really? How interesting. Is that just because it's a ruddy mess, or is do the smells rise and therefore people prioritize working or living on the lower floors? Is that the problem? Oh, I've seen this fence before. That Parasisim game, or whatever the hell it was called, which was also about a paranormal video blogger, now that I think about it. Again, going into an apartment building. That also had used the same asset. The security room should have a spare key. And what makes you think they're going to give it to me in the middle of the night while I stick a camera in their face? Alright, so I need to go and get a secondary key for room 407. Well, assuming that the layout is the same, these bathrooms actually do have doors on them, so perhaps it's a case of disrepair, not a case of disrepute. So perhaps I'm being unfair. Yes, it's all right. I'll remember from earlier. All right. Right. Okay. So, presumably, the game decided, you know what, Phil, you make a valid point. What crazy middle-of-the-night security guard would give you a key? Let's not worry about that. Or maybe it just thought, I can't be bothered to listen to this utter cretin yammer any longer. I'll skip that part of the game so that we don't have to listen to him natter. That would be perfectly reasonable. That would be perfectly reasonable, but here we are all the same. Let's see what there is to be seen. It seems to have a rather different layout to my room. Alright. I don't know what... Hang on a second. What... Why are there these cables running from the ceiling and then all joining at that door handle to that cupboard? I don't know. And I don't think I want to know. But I'm sure I will know eventually. Once we clear the black mold and straighten the doilies, I'm sure we will be ready to get utterly reamed by whatever demon is so desiring of enacting correction upon me. What? Oh, I thought it was coming through the other door. Oh, they are marbles. They quite literally are marbles. Thank you very much. Sorry. When I could only see this much, I thought actually a brick wall had come to the edge of the doorframe, blocking me in. But it hadn't. It was just a trick of the light. Alright, so when you said it was a marble sound, you genuinely did mean someone had dropped their marbles on the floor. Right. Okay. Somebody watched Home Alone too many times and decided that they needed to burglar-proof their home. Fair enough. I mean, I didn't. I hated it on many basic primal levels, which tell me to turn around and run away. But at the same time, from a design perspective, that was very nice. Right. What the hell, I think, is the easy way of communicating my feelings about this matter? It, doesn't seem I can interact with any of the technology here, so I guess I'm just gonna waltz over here, trip over on these marbles, and break my neck. It seems like something went in. Check the neighborhood again. What on earth are you talking about? That seems to be the same number of marbles as before. Was that a rat or somebody turning a squeaky screwdriver? I'm not entirely sure. Alright. You know what? Let's not worry about any of that. Let's just move on with our lives. And wonder what this funny golden lock is, which I don't remember being here before. Or at least I don't remember noticing before. Let's leave after filming. But you told me to check the neighborhood. Did you mean check the apartment? What's that sound? Yes, a bloody good question, my dear friend. Oh, this is just like a little camping stove, isn't it? This isn't even wired in. My goodness. I would have thought that would be something that would be quite important, but then I do notice how all of the wiring is just sort of on the wall rather than sort of actually baked into the design of the infrastructure, which is curious. Okay, let's carry on. The frame rate seems to have picked up if nothing else, so that's grand. What is that noise? What is that dot of white light? It's definitely here, isn't it? It's definitely coming from here. But I'm not sure what precisely it's seeking I interact with, unless it needs me to turn my light off and on again, if that's the sort of mechanic we're going with, a kind of blink your eyes sort of thing, but I don't think we are. This dot seems important. I don't know why that dot would be there if this isn't the source of the sound, and my ears and surround sound system also seem to be pointing me in this direction, so I'm not totally sure what I'm in need of doing. Is there anything under there? Something, isn't there? There's something right about there. If the head bob would stop for a moment, but I don't know what that is, and I don't know how to access it because I don't seem to be able to crouch down. And just standing here and putting my tootsies up for sacrifice don't seem to be satisfactory. Also, I find it curious the bolt is on the outside of the room rather than the inside, when surely you'd want to lock your own room for the sake of privacy rather than locking somebody else's room for the sake of keeping that little bastard quiet. I really don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure that this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I'm sure that I'm supposed to be by the source of the sound, but I don't understand what I need to do. Are there any controls that I'm forgetting? Not really. No. Curious. All right. Let's, Sorry, the other times there'd been an interactive prompt that came up. Right. 'Twas just a mouse. 'Twas just a mischievous rodent. And more marbles. Right. Let's call it a day for shooting. Yes, before we get shot. At the very least get some sort of injection shot into us in order to cure us of all the rat diseases we've contracted. Well, the door's opened, so that seems like an excellent sign that it's time to end my lovely visit with my lovely neighbour and leave forevermore and never come back and go back to bed and sleep for 100 years. How did the cabinet fall? And other such political questions that we don't have time to discuss. No, well, indeed, I don't really know. But many things seem to be falling down in this place. Perhaps indications of poltergeists. My mother thinks she saw a poltergeist once, or saw the effect of a poltergeist, I suppose I should say, once when she was in the kitchen and a cucumber fell off the side. Which I'm not entirely sure that's what poltergeists do, but hey-ho. If that's the best we can do in these years of austerity, then I'll take it. I'll take it. Alrighty. I think this one's... Is this one mine? Yep. Home. Sweet home. Alrighty. Let's go back to bed. I think we've seen enough creepy things for one night. I do find it curious that he didn't comment on the face we saw at the doorway. That okay, it just seems we've given up in saying interact these days. My stomach suddenly hurts a lot. Oh. Okay. Alright, I'll open this door. Well, I can open this door and I can see all of my various bits and pieces that I haven't folded because I'm a lazy launderer. Alright, that seems fair enough. Alright. No, I do find it curious the protagonist didn't comment on the figure who threw the marbles down the corridor. That seems mysterious. Alright, well at least we can actually see the world properly now without the VHS filter on it, so... Alrighty! Who needs privacy? If there's a sudden mysterious jump cut, it's just because this segment was a little bit too realistic, either in the visuals or the sounds, and I didn't want to subject us both to that any further. So, you know, that's just how this works. Are we done? Having a bit of a sit. Well, there's no sounds. Ask and thou shalt receive. Grateful for that. The hell is that? It sounds like a train rattling past. It's occupied. You shall have to come back later. Despite the fact there's a door here. Bloody mouse again. Yep, I think I've had about enough of this. Okay, do I still have my light? Yes, I do. Tremendous. Okay. We're not going to flush? No? Okay, apparently not. I suppose there's so much dirt here already, you wouldn't notice a little more. Alright. Alright. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just gonna whack the mouse with my wrist, and I apologise for that. And not the little skittering one that keeps making noises. I'm just going to go to bed. Write a diary. Oh. Okay. Because the video record of my inane yammerings weren't enough, we need a written record of this as well. Alright, fair enough. Let's do some scribblings. March 9th. The source of the marble sound was found in room 407. They were indeed marbles. At one moment it seemed that a human figure was seen. But when the video was reviewed, nothing was found. Judging from the current situation, it is very likely that it was caused by a rat bumping into something. Okay. Well, there at least is the, okay. Shouldn't the camera be, like, locked in position so I can move my mouse around on this screen? Never mind. At least there is the acknowledgement of the face that we saw, so that's nice. March 8th. The sound of marble started again, this time more obvious, almost certainly on the 4th floor, but the sound disappeared as soon as I went upstairs. Very strange. I will wait and see tomorrow. March 7th. I was filming as usual at night, and the power circuit breaker tripped several times in a row, causing me to run back to the first floor to restart each time. Okay, well, at least that tells where it is if I do need to deal with that later. I don't know if it was my illusion, but I felt like I heard strange footsteps in the dark, When I watched the video and amplified the volume, all was normal. Right, I think that my question from earlier has been answered. He's not a video blogger who makes videos of paranormal things, he's just either possessed or mentally unstable, and just happens to video things as a side hobby. Right. It was 11 o'clock in the middle of the night, just now. I clearly heard the sound of marbles next to my bed. I opened my eyes in a daze and vaguely saw a person standing at the head of the bed, staring at me in the dark. But when I turned on the light, there was no one. Am I too nervous these days, or is there really a supernatural event? I decided to go out and shoot a circle first. Well, I suppose that's better than shooting a fox. And then go to bed and set up the camera to face the place where I sleep. I didn't shoot anything strange tonight. No, only perfectly ordinary people got shot tonight. March 5th. It has been the third day since I came here. The circuit in this damn old apartment suddenly tripped when I was editing video materials on my computer last night, causing my computer charger to malfunction. I know the irritation of being in the middle of editing a long video and the power going out and that ruining everything, so I can empathise with that. I can only use a notebook to record the situation in the past few days. I vaguely heard the sound of marbles bouncing in the night. It was obviously not the sound of aging steel bars. That's oddly specific, but alright, how do you know so much about construction work? It was more like someone throwing marbles upstairs, and the sound came from far away. When I went out to check, the sound disappeared again. The food I stocked up in advance is enough for 5 days. I can hopefully shoot some thrilling materials in the next few days. In addition, I am not really used to living in this old-style apartment. It feels very uncomfortable to go to the public toilet in the middle of the night. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay, that's good. That means that this is some sort of outmoded institution that people realised was a bit daft and they moved on from. I feel better about being grumpy about it. Alright. Alright, so you have enough food for 5 days. So, what day did we start on? That was the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and I wasn't even counting. I think that's 4. Alright, can I put that, I put that away. Okay. Okay. I'm glad we didn't get to the bottom of that, but we sort of got to the bottom of it. Alright, let's have a little sleep and see what comes on the 5th day of madness. A storm. Tremendous. Is the sun going to come up, or is that not a thing that happens around here? Is that the end of the demo, or is there a little bit more for us to see? I hope there's a little bit more. It'd be nice for it to have a little crescendo. Oh, blimey. The marbles are at it again. Best not to trip. The camera fell. Indeed, poor thing. What have we here? Are we going to review some old footage? I get the feeling we are. What can we see? Whom can we see? There's me, having a sleep, without a blanket and keeping my shoes on. Didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. You need to buy less baggy trousers, my friend. I didn't like this before, but somehow it's managed to get worse. Hello? I sort of don't want to be alive right now. Okay, I'm not doing anything, it's doing this all by itself. I need to leave here quickly. You and me could not be in greater agreement. Right! I don't care about my stuff, I don't care about my boots, I don't care about my buckets of KFC. I don't care about anything. I'm leaving. Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe staying here ain't such a bad idea after all. Nope. I'm going to... Okay, I regret everything infinitely and infinitesimally that I've ever done, which has ever led me to the conclusion of events which is about to occur in about 15 seconds, which is going to involve my head being removed from my shoulders. Please, please, don't do that. God, blimey, governor. Is it all a dream, or have I been turned into... Oh! Did I bollock everything up big time? Was I not supposed to do that? Oh. What? Why has the language changed? No, you're still in English. Okay. Good evening, and goodbye! Okay. Maybe I need to find a knife, or a window to jump out of? Okay, maybe just hit them over the head with a big thermos. Alright, oh no, that must have been the kitchen door shutting, so it mustn't it? Okay, do I need to trigger the enemy to start chasing me and then run back in my apartment and close the door behind me? That seems vaguely reasonable. We can give that a try. Oh, the door's closed. And it's locked. That's far from excellent. Let's try hiding in the loo. What? Yeah, literally. Let's hide in the lavatory. Okay, fine. Sitting in a load of strangers' poo or being murdered by a maniac. I think I'm going to pick the latter. I know there was some criticism leveled against games like Outlast for saying that a hiding mechanic is legitimate if you just run into a room and then jump in a locker, and then for some bizarre reason the enemy doesn't think to look in the oddly human-shaped locker that's also breathing and wheezing. But I think an enemy that just doesn't even look around the corner of the cubicle is somewhat daft. Alright. I'll turn my light on. Oh, I'm not even in the cubicle. I'm just having a sit, am I? Alright. What's that noise? I heard the plappy of some bare feet. Hello. Do you mind? Occupied at the moment, but I promise you I'll be done in a minute, and then you can eat your heart out. Just please don't eat my heart. Hello. Goodbye, life. It was fun while it lasted. I wouldn't walk in a public bathroom in bare feet. It's not a hygiene recommendation from me. Okay. We're more alive than I thought we'd be at this instant. So that's lovely. I can't interact or turn my light on, so... My goodness. I'm guessing the point of the tap turning on was to draw your attention to the right, so it could then change the image on the left for you to then look at. Okay. Everything seems fine. Suspiciously fine. All too fine. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Am I somebody different now? Or am I a disembodied spirit? I don't know. Again, I'm not doing nothing. Or words I can't read. That was good. That was good. I like that. That was good. That was very, very good. I very much enjoyed that. My goodness gracious me. That was surprisingly well done. I must confess that when this first started, I was not holding out very optimistic expectations. It seemed not wholly original in terms of sort of the setting and the setup, but what matters most is not the building blocks that are used, but what you build out of them, right? And through the pacing and the sound and the build-up, it created something very disturbing and unpleasant in a very impressive way, which I very much enjoyed. So, yes, that was a hell of a thing, or the start of a hell of a thing. Don't know if I'll play the full game or not. I do think it's been released, because I remember trying to decide whether just to do the demo first or get the whole game. But no, that was a very interesting beginning, and I would be curious to see what the rest of the game looks like. I don't know if anybody else would have any interest in seeing that, but that was good. That was very enjoyable. Some very well put together spooks, some very good timing, and a curious villain design. Not an inherently scary design. Quite a neutral and natural design of just a person in some casual clothing. So perhaps that's part of what made it so creepy, that something so natural and so human and so much like something you might see every day, even in your own apartment building, could actually be very, very dangerous. So I very much liked that. I very much enjoyed that indeed. So thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. Look after each other, and good night.